that's local, state or federal, are struggling with complexity in an increasingly constrained resource environment. But as we've heard from the Minister, we know that data is everywhere. In fact, when we think about it, it's the first resource in human history that isn't assigned value by its scarcity, but rather by its abundance. Its volume, its velocity, its veracity and its variety. And we know that ubiquitous connectivity is changing everything. We know it's changing, creating extraordinary new ways of creating value. We know it's creating disruptive new ways that citizens and governments can talk to each other. And we know there's unexpected new ways of solving old and wicked public policy problems, many of which we're celebrating tonight. It's true to say that now and into the future, more and more so, government are not the experts. That, I always say, government needs to stop behave less like Frommer's, the big travel guide of the past, if you like, and more like TripAdvisor, a platform on which we can share knowledge, share information, share data, and co-construct future solutions. Government needs to be a platform on which citizens can co-construct the solutions and the services of the future. So tonight, no less, we are celebrating that future and bold steps towards it. At a time when government at all levels need to reimagine what it means to serve the people, GovHack, I believe, across the nation and at its very best tonight, shows them the way. Power to the people, power to the GovHackers. Hack, not crack, of course. GovHack is about building, not breaking. It helps us show off and encouraging government towards more and more robust, machine-readable, open data. GovHack in 2015 has grown into an international event. 31 cities across New Zealand and Australia, up from the 11 cities in Australia last year. That's some 300% increase. 2,200 participants and observers, up from 1,300 last year. Over 160 volunteers on national and local teams. This year there were over 300 projects and 100 teams are represented here tonight at the Red Carpet Awards. And I know there's at least a couple from Tasmania, so give us a shout. Woohoo! 30 national sponsors, over 100 local sponsors across Australia and New Zealand, and 300,000 in competition prizes across local, national and international categories, as well as various mentorship and co-working placement prizes. Not bad for a volunteer-run, community-driven event. Congratulations. This year saw many newcomers to the competition and myriad of clever hacks that demonstrate clearly to judges and observers alike the awesome and inventive nature of our Australian and New Zealand civic hacker community. A big thank you to the Australian and New Zealand national and local sponsors and supporters of the competition. I think they're worth mentioning by name because these are the sorts of corporates and organisations and institutions that we should be thanking and celebrating. This year's national sponsors are, in the lead agency position, the Digital Transformation Office, the lead sponsor being our friends at Telstra. The platinum sponsors are Frame HP, Microsoft and Splunk. The international sponsors, Ancestry, Google and IAG. Silver sponsors are Acquia, the Australian Computer Society, Australian Information Industry Association, Amazon Web Services, Computer Power Institute, DLA Piper, Newcast, NICTA and the eGov Cluster, Link Digital and Linux Australia. National agency sponsors are the Australian Taxation Office, the ABC, Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission, Australian Bureau of Statistics, the CSIRO, the Department of Industry and Science, IP Australia, Geoscience Australia, Australian Institute of Health and Welfare, Department of Finance, Department of Communications, National and State Libraries Australasia, the State Library of New South Wales and the National Archives of Australia. Please give them all a round of applause. Also, and I know you'll join me in warmly thanking, and Pia will be up later to thank them more specifically, but I particularly want to thank Pia, but all of the team of advocates and evangelists and hard workers and volunteers who have put their time and hearts into making each and every one of the GovHack events around the country, in small cities and large, put their time and hearts into making each and every one of those events awesome. Congratulations, and please join me in thanking those volunteers. Now, you've been waiting to hear how your teams went in the national competition, but first, we do have some special guests and dignitaries here to show their support, and I welcome that very much. Please join me first of all in welcoming Rose Hiscock, the Director of the Powerhouse Museum, who will address us, in whose magnificent building and institution we hold this celebration tonight. Please welcome Rose Hiscock.
Thank you, David, and your very warm welcome, everyone, to the Powerhouse Museum. Can I acknowledge that we're meeting on the land of the Gadigal people and pay my respects to elders past and present. Yeah, so I'm the director of this wonderful museum, which is part of the Museum of Applied Arts and Sciences. It's extremely fitting that this event is held here tonight. We're in fact Australia's only Museum of Applied Arts and Sciences, and I can think of no more appropriate combination of art and science for what you've been doing and dealing with data and ideas. For those of you who know your mathematical history, you'll know who Charles Babbage is. Babbage, 200 years ago, recognised the limitations of the human brain and set about to build a difference machine to develop polynomial equations. As he was building his difference machine, he held salons where he invited the luminaries of London's 1820s, poets, scientists, dreamers, inventors, scientists, into his home to look at this wonderful difference machine that he was building. One of those people who was at his salons was a woman called Ada Lovelace, who later translated one of his lectures and is now known as the world's first computer programmer. Why am I telling you this? Well, our collection has, just across the road in our store, we have a piece of Charles Babbage's difference machine. We have letters from Ada Lovelace to Babbage. In fact, a little calling card that just has one word on it. It's about the size of a business card. It's addressed from Ada Lovelace to Charles Babbage. It simply says, interesting. Upstairs, just above you, we have we have one of only 50 in the world of the first generation Apple I computer. So I very warmly welcome you here today. You're part of a very fine tradition that this museum has been part of. I'd like to think of you all here in one of Babbage's salons as you, the luminaries of our nation, consider, as David said, some wicked problems. You're very welcome.
Fantastic. Thank you for those words, Rose, and thank you also for turning on such a magnificent show here in the Turbine room. We also have the opportunity, just let me get my running sheet right here, to hear from our lead corporate agency and sponsors. And with that, I'd like to invite Chris Lowe, the Director of Federal Government from Telstra, to address us. Thank you.
Thank you, David, for a very kind introduction. Senator, Minister, distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen, and fellow hackers, on behalf of Telstra, I would like to thank the organisers and, as David mentioned, to the wonderful volunteers. In addition, I'd like to thank the federal government and particularly the national agencies, in particular the Department of Finance, the Digital Transformation Office, the Department of Industry and Science for their support of GovHack. And I would also like to thank the Powerhouse Museum for providing such an inspirational venue. Telstra is very proud to sponsor this incredible event, and I'm intrigued to think what might come of the wealth of talent in this room tonight. I hope you've already had a chance to meet some of the other civic hackers, and as we know in the game of innovation, it's not always about the technology, and that the best innovations come through collaboration and co-creation. It's about having new conversations with each other, with the government at all levels, with the private sector, and with the community, and with individuals like yourselves. And as we say, it's about how we connect. From robotics to apps, from big data and analytics, the world has been changing fast, and so has Telstra. These new technologies are something we are passionate about, and there has been no other time in history where technology presents such raw ingredients for innovation. The global adoption of mobile connectivity and cloud computing now allows these breakthroughs to be combined in wonderful new solutions. And that's why Telstra has sponsored GovHack. We wanted to see what happens when some very smart minds get together to co-create, because co-creation is something we're also equally passionate about. One of the most innovative things we've done recently to foster co-creation is the launch of Mura-D. Mura-D is a startup incubator based here in Sydney, and it provides people such as yourselves with great digital ideas, everything they ever wanted to bring them to life. Startups that are accepted into the Mura-D program are provided with mentoring, tailored accelerated services, and investment, all important investment. Our end goal is to help Australia and Southeast Asia become a centre of digital business. We look at anything with a digital background, not just mobile phones and the internet. Then there's our latest baby, the Gurrowa Innovation Laboratory in Melbourne. The name Gurrowa means interchange in the Wurrung language and reflects the interchange of ideas that will take place in this co-creation space. This lab will drive the next wave of innovation at Telstra, and it's kitted out with every piece of equipment you would love to get your hands on. From ultra-fast networks, 3D printers, it even has a drone lab. It's here where we'll work with our customers to come up with smart solutions to the challenges they face, much as you've done here at GovHack, and the challenges facing our communities. Telstra's vision is all about connecting the world in new and innovative ways, and GovHack is a brilliant example of this. In an open government with open access to data and a commitment to citizen-centric services, the possibilities are endless. We are excited to see them come to life tonight, so please join with me in congratulating not only the winners but everybody who's taken part. Thank you.
As we've heard, the Digital Transformation Office, newly created Digital Transformation Office, is the major sponsor here tonight, and I'd like to welcome the newly arrived, he tells me he's been in Australia for 6 weeks now, CEO of the Digital Transformation Office. Give him a warm Australian welcome, Paul Shetler.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been 6 weeks. It's been 6 pretty amazing whirlwind weeks. I've been loving every single minute of it. Thank you very much for having me at this event. I've heard an awful lot about it from Pia and from other people in the team, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing some of the hacks. I've already seen a few of them, but I'm looking to see the rest of them later on this evening. Obviously, we've got a great evening ahead of us, and I'm as excited as you are to get to the worst part of the evening, so I'm going to keep my comments very, very brief indeed, and in fact, might be making a couple brazen pitches to you. The DTO is a very new agency. We just started our life on the 1st of July, and I like to tell people we're probably the most petite agency in the Australian government, but we have whole of government responsibility, so it's an interesting challenge. And I think it's quite interesting that one of the first public initiatives that we've taken has been the actual relationship with GovHack and with this particular event. And that actually was done for a few reasons. The DTO has an enormous job ahead of us, and we need the absolute best people on board to help us achieve what we want to do, and that is to transform the face of Australian public services to the people of Australia, to the people who want to access them. We think that some of the very best and brightest people can be found at events like this. And so if we are here, and if you're involved with GovHack, you're already showing that you want to work on stuff that matters. And that's what we're about. So if you haven't heard, we are recruiting. And our website is at dto.gov.au. I would encourage people who are interested in working with DTO to let it be known there. Go to the site, let us know if you're interested in joining us, because we are looking for developers. We are looking for product managers, we're looking for delivery managers, user researchers, interaction designers, technical architects, web ops engineers, and so on. So I said there'd be a bit of a brazen pitch, and that was it. We're also looking to fill the role of ethical hacker, which I think has raised a bit of interest. So if you're interested in that also, please do let us know. We're also supporting GovHack, however, for a broader reason, which is that we understand the importance of collaboration between organizations and agencies, between the public sector and the private sector, and between teams made up of people from different disciplines, right? Again, we are looking to change the face of public services, but we know that can't be done by one very petite, brand new agency sitting in Canberra by itself. That can only be done by collaboration between us, the open source community, startup scene, small and medium enterprises, and academia, and that is why we're here. So we're looking to drive a culture of collaboration between government and all those different areas. Finally, DTO is extremely focused, and as you get to know me better, you'll see that it's kind of I live, eat, and breathe this. It's very focused on delivery, because delivery is what is basically our capital. Delivery is what allows us to go forward another day. Delivery is what the people of Australia expect of us. So deliver quickly, iterate wildly, and get a viable product out as you iterate. That is our slogan. And GovHack provides a safe space for agencies to learn by doing and to dip their toe in the water of civic hacking. Right? So I think the government agencies should be encouraging their staff to participate in initiatives like GovHack, to learn how to develop skills, to learn how to collaborate, and to get inspired to work in bold, new, and different ways. In conclusion, we're really excited to be involved with GovHack 2015, and I want to thank the organizers and congratulate all the participants for putting on such a successful event, and I wish everybody the best of luck in tonight's event. Thank you.
Now, just before I invite our next very special guest to the stage, can I say that already I've had quite smart kind of remarks on Twitter and text from as far-flung as right down in the southeast corner of Australia, Dewtown, to Geraldton in the northwest corner of Australia. And the one thing they all have in common is they can't see you on the stream. I can see all you magnificent people, but I'm going to ask you now all to come forward. It looks like an empty hall here, but I can assure the rest of Australia who are watching this, there is several hundred people here, all looking magnificent in their Saturday evening best. I'm going to invite that audience to come forward and get a bit of the crowd closer to the podium in this celebration. I do congratulate the Australian Government on the creation of the Digital Transformation Office. I think it's been much needed for a long time, and everything I've seen come from it so far and from the speakers that I've heard from the DTO has been really innovative and forward-thinking policy, and clearly with a real desire, as we've just heard from Paul, to engage the civic hacker community. Someone else who I think has made a career out of focusing on innovative public policy is Senator Arthur Sinodinos, and I welcome him here tonight and invite him to address us on behalf of the federal government. Thank you.
Thanks very much, David. I won't keep you very long because It's been such a warm atmosphere in this room. When I was first asked about coming along here, I thought, what the heck am I getting myself into? Anne-Marie Elias and Pia Waugh talked me into it. But the minute I walked in the room and I saw the passion and the commitment that people have for what they are doing, for what you are doing, it seemed to me that this is an initiative that anybody in government, in opposition, all sides of politics, should be supporting 110%. Now, someone before, I forget who it was, made a very wise remark. Not all wisdom resides in government. That is absolutely correct. You wonder some days if any wisdom resides in government. But my point is this: increasingly, governments are recognising that in this age, where IT in particular has democratised the distribution of knowledge and power, the wisdom of crowds is what will give you the solutions to intractable social and economic problems. This idea, top-down, command and control, working in silos, somehow you can solve these things, that's gone. Now, what you do is you get groups of people together with diverse experiences, you put them in a room, you get them thinking, kicking stuff around, and that's how you get things done. The other thing that excites me about what you're doing is, too often in government, I've watched us try and build everything from scratch. It might be a whole new electronic health system, for argument's sake. And what do? We spend $500 million on it, or $1 billion. And yet if you got a group of creative people together at the start and said, hey, how can we do this, and what's happening out there, and what are some of the models, almost off the shelf, about how we can do this, how do we scale it up, how much more effective would that be? How much more quickly would things happen? And that's what this is about. Paul mentioned about outcomes and results. Ultimately, it's about getting a result. Too often, I've worked in corporates and I've worked in government. Too often in big corporates and in government, having meetings and having a plan is an achievement in itself. No, you want the outcome. You want the result. That's what excites me about what you're doing here. And it's interactive, it's democratic, it's the way of the future. The workplace of the future will be a collaborative place, not too hierarchical, where you judge people not by their qualifications or what they look like, but what they bring to the table in terms of ideas. That's the sort of collaborative workplace we want. Pia's spoken a lot about strategic partnerships. That's what strategic partnerships are. And in a diverse society like ours, with all the talents we've got a huge amount to bring to the table. One of the particular beefs I have is that we develop a lot of ideas in Australia, but we don't necessarily commercialise them or scale them up here. Now, not every idea has to be commercialised here. The world is our oyster. But my point is, we need to do better in that space, because innovation across industry, across all sectors of industry, is the way of the future for this country. So tonight for me is a fantastic opportunity to meet so many people who are at the leading edge of ideas and of collaboration to promote innovation. The other thing I want you to do within the government sphere is to make it clear that people have permission to fail. That it's not about always covering your butt and being risk averse. Yes, it's government money, but unless we do new things, unless we try things, how we know what works and doesn't work? So you are insurgents. You are changing the culture in which government operates. And the role of politicians like me and Malcolm and others is to do what we can at our level to promote that insurgency and make sure it spreads through as much of the government as possible. So it's a privilege to be here tonight. It's a privilege to see what you do. All strength to your arm. And I hope in the future we can say that the hackathons are becoming bigger than Ben-Hur, and they're covering the whole world, not just Australia and New Zealand. Thanks very much for having me.
Well, thank you, Senator. They were indeed wise words, and we look forward to your continued promotion of this grand insurgency. Much appreciated. This event obviously survives on the goodwill of and contribution of many sponsors, but I'd like to invite to the stage, just for a couple of minutes each, three of those main sponsors. From Frame HP, Please welcome Matt Holden and give him a warm thank you for HP's contribution.
Thanks, David. Look, I'll be very brief. I think our involvement as HP we're fairly uniquely positioned. We're committed to open source with OpenStack and Cloud Foundry, but we're obviously a very large multinational organisation. And I just as Senator Sinodinos was saying, I think the commitment from government to open source and open data, it's just as important for commercial organisations like HP to be committed to open source and open data. So I guess my ask and my encouragement for you is that if you're not looking at OpenStack and Cloud Foundry in the projects that you're working on at the moment, I'd really encourage you to. And Chris from Frame Group and myself are around this evening, so come and catch us if they're buzzwords that are of interest to you. Thanks, David.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Can I also then welcome David Lemon from the CSIRO, who have made a great contribution to GovHack 2015. If I can't see them move in the audience, no, they are on their way. No, okay. Well, can I please thank CSIRO and and from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, David Kalish. Are you with us? Yes, correct. Please welcome David to the stage.
Good evening, everyone, and good evening to the GovHack participants, organisers, and also the many guests that are here tonight. I'm the Australian statistician. On behalf of the ABS, I'd like to, I suppose, thank everyone for using ABS data, particularly in terms of this event. And also just to let you know that this year we were a sponsor for a couple of prize categories, and it was certainly interesting to see the many changes and innovations that were shown up this year as well as in past years. Perhaps the one other thing I'll say is that the ABS is changing. Perhaps taking up Arthur's challenge, we're innovating. We're also making our data more available to people. We're seeking legal advice that is giving us a sense of what we can do with the information that we have available and see it as critically important for the nation's productivity, for our growth, for good decision making by businesses, by government, and by the community more broadly. So we'd like you to make better use of our data. It's going to be available on the web. It's available there for free, but we're also looking to make our data better available through its microdata access and through the data linkage capabilities that we have at the Bureau. So I certainly look forward to many hackers and many other people in the broader community making use of the information that the taxpayers have paid for. Thank you very much.
And finally, from our sponsors, can I welcome Angela from the ABC?
I wasn't going to speak tonight, and I don't have a prepared speech, but listening to the room, I just thought I'd say a couple of words, which is I work in an organisation that sometimes feels like that we need to protect what we have. And I think developers don't need to really be told about collaboration and how to be innovative and how to do stuff with scarce resources and open data. But I think if you're in digital and if you're in a large company and you're in the public service or you're in an organisation which hoards data, I think all of us who care about opening up and innovation should really encourage our organisations to be more open and to release more data. I think that a lot's talked about the things that are required for innovation to happen, but the first thing that's required for innovation to happen is for people to give up control and understand that in giving up control, we all benefit and the society benefits. So that was all I was going to say. Have a great night.
Thank you, Angela, and thank you to the ABC. We will be hearing a little later on from the Honourable Victor Dominello, the New South Wales Minister for Innovation as well. But for now, we move into celebration mode, the part that you've all been waiting for, the winners of the 2015 International and Australian National GovHack Awards. The GovHack New Zealand National Awards were on the 15th of August, and a number of local awards events around the country have already happened. So please check the GovHack website for New Zealand and local competition winners. Given we have a lot of awards to get through tonight, and we're streaming live, so we're going to design the awards giving for that stream as much as those in the room. I'll be announcing each category and winners fairly quickly. I'll ask you to applaud the winner, and then I'll ask you to applaud the honourable mentions and runners-up as well as a group. And they will be published, of course, on the GovHack website at the end of the awards. We'll be doing certificates, medallions and photos at the end of the announcements. So once I've announced the awards and we've had one or two more short speeches from dignitaries, we'll move back into having a drink, into celebration, but then there will be an opportunity for winning teams and so on to come up, receive their certificates, receive their medals, have their group hug shot and all of the other things. Now, as Minister for Education, I always used to say at graduation ceremonies that officiated at, it is okay to scream really loudly on behalf of the team that you're here to support and celebrate wildly. Doesn't have to be polite applause. Well, polite would be good, but it needs to be loud, because this is a celebration of your great work, your innovation, and all of the work that's gone on this year to date in GovHack. So, to the awards. The GovHack 2015 international categories had competitors across Australia and New Zealand. The International Best Disaster Mitigation Hack, supported by Insurance Australia Group, or IAG, was about ways to support disaster mitigation, emergency response, or community support around responding to disasters. The winning hack is I Help by Team Tremors in New Zealand. We're not coming up to the stage, but you can come up and have a little bow if you like. And I'll ask you to save your applause for the runners-up as a group. The runners-up are #BHack, We Can Help by Team Ballarat Hackerspace in Ballarat, and Community Response by Team River Hacktivists in New Zealand. Well, congratulations to them. I can see encouraging rowdiness may have been premature on my behalf. Secondly then, the International Digital Humanities Hack, supported by Ancestry.com and IP Australia, was about using humanities data to create, engage in, and celebrate cultural and intellectual data. The winning hack is Patent Stories by Team Patent Trolls in Canberra. The runners-up are #OnCountry by Team #OnCountry in Perth, and Loaded Dice by Team Inequality Team in New Zealand. There were also 3 highly commended projects: World War I Parramatta Soldiers by Team Alabama in Sydney, History Repeats by Team Mady Media in Tasmania, and Cemetery Search Information New Zealand by Team Vandelay Enterprises, a Seinfeld fan there, in New Zealand. Finally, the International Bounty for Best World War I Hacks, supported by the National and State Libraries Australasia, the State Libraries of New South Wales, and the National Archives Australia, was about using World War I data to help share the stories of our Anzac soldiers, of course, in this centenary year. The victorious bounty hunters are Anne's Hacks by Hackosaurus Rex in Canberra, and sharing the winners' prize are Citizen Culture and Heritage, Lest We Forget, by Team Technogesic in Ballarat. There were also some highly commended projects. I can see Ballarat right now just going off on the stream. Hello to my friends there. There were also some highly commended projects in this category. World War I Parramatta Soldiers by Team Alabama in Sydney, Indigenous War Heroes by Team Hack to the Future in Perth, For King and Countries by Team Bold in Playford. Congratulations. So congratulations to all our international prize winners and highly commended hacks. We move now to the Australian National Major Categories for GovHack 2015, and they were open, of course, to all Australian participants. The Best Digital Transformation Hack, supported by the Digital Transformation Office and the Department of Communications, was about how to do digital transformation in government. The winning hack is Health Buddy by Team Chamonix in Adelaide. The runners-up are Invest SA by Team CM Unity in Adelaide and Neuron, Connecting Like Minds by Team Neuron in Sydney. Congratulations to you for the runners-up. And there was a highly commended project, ClearGov by Team Null in Sydney. Congratulations to you too. Moving on, the Best Open Government Data Hack, supported by the Department of Finance and the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare, was about showing how open data could be done. The winning hack is, and I love this one, Question Time, a game of policy by Team Executive Swivel in Tasmania. I'm sure the Senator's familiar with Question Time as well. The runners-up are Ecovalia by Team Torrens Juice in Adelaide and Austrails.org by Team Austrails in Melbourne. Congratulations to the runners-up. There was also a highly commended project in this category, the Best Open Government Data Hack, and that was Consensus by Team Yakety Hacks in Brisbane. I think perhaps next year there should also be a category for the best team names along the way. Unless I just haven't read that far in my notes yet, Pierre, I'm not sure. Moving on then, the Best Science Hack, supported by Geoscience Australia and CSIRO, was about using awesome government data for great scientific outcomes and helping people engage in, understand and use scientific information in their everyday lives. The winning hack is Lungs by Team St Simon in Adelaide. The runners-up are Neuron, Connecting Like Minds by Team Neuron in Sydney and Animu by Team Watermelon in Brisbane. There were some highly commended projects in this category also. Reaction, If Data Then That by Team Noah in Canberra, and Minecraft Your City by Team Mind the App in Canberra. The seventh award category tonight is the Best Policy Insights Hack, supported by the Australian Bureau of Statistics and the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission. It was about using data to inform and analyse policies. The winning hack is Synergising Synergies for Citizens by Synergising Synergies for Citizens in Perth. The runners-up are Gender Equality by Team Dot in Sydney and Melbourne, Where Are We Going by Team Where Are the Vampires in Melbourne. The eighth category tonight, the Best Data Journalism Hack, supported by the ABC and the Australian Tax Office, was about using government data for data journalism. The winning hack is Mapping Pedestrian Activities and Safety in Melbourne by Team Monash City Science in Melbourne. There are two runners-up in this category, Squizzler by Team Let's Talk Time Travel in Geelong and Remembrance by Team Watermelon in Brisbane. There were also 4 highly commended projects in this category. The Glass Ceiling Index by Team Blackwattle in Sydney. The Local Stories by Team Our Local Stories in Melbourne. True Stories by Team Potato Heads in Sydney. And Viewpoint by Team Danju and Friends, or Danu and Friends in Sydney. Congratulations to the highly commended. Our 9th category is for the best entrepreneurial hack, supported by Telstra and the Department of Industry. It was about the project that has the most potential as a startup or a commercial business. The winning hack is Neuron, Connecting Like Minds by Team Neuron in Sydney. The runners-up are, and I'm not sure how you make money out of this one, but Question Time, a game of policy by Team Executive Swivel in Tasmania. Empowered Neighbours by Team Open Energy in Perth. Congratulations to the runners-up. And there was also a highly commended project, Cooey, by Team Cooey in Melbourne. Congratulations to all our national major category prize winners and highly commended hacks. So, to the National Team Awards, the GovHack 2015 Australian National Team Awards were open to all Australian participants. The best youth team, supported by Frame HP and Computer Power, is the first category of the National Team Awards, and the winning hack is AusEd by Team Nexus is Back in Mount Gambier. The runners-up are Bike Safe by Team Luke and Josh in Playford and Bill Shock by Team Ode to Code in Canberra. There were also some highly commended projects, Data on the Streets by Team JMash in Melbourne, Anagenio, sorry about that, by Team Watermelon in Brisbane, and Explore CBR by Team Alcon United in Canberra. Congratulations to the highly commended project. The 11th category tonight is Best Higher Education Team, supported by Google and Splunk. The winning hack is Patent Stories by Team Patent Trolls in Canberra. The runners-up, back again, Remembrance by Team Watermelon in Brisbane and Solar Buddy by Team Studio 39 Charlie in the Gold Coast. The next category, a category that I would love to see continue to expand, because I think one of the things that GovHack has to offer to the public sector is a new way of thinking about problem solving. And it's been said to me already tonight that a number of the public servants who participated actively in GovHack said that was the best professional development experience that they'd ever had. Better than the tens of thousands of dollars that might be spent on courses, for example. So let's celebrate the best public servant team, supported by Microsoft and Acquia. The winning hack is Safe Way to Go by Team Hippo Creative in Adelaide. The runners-up are Pick a Park by Team Feature Creeper and the Creeps. It sounds like a band I used to play in Melbourne, and Livability by Team Hackosaurus Rex in Canberra. Congratulations to you. Our 13th category, Best Professional Team, supported by the AIIA and the ACS, the ICT peak bodies in Australia. The winning hack is Our Local Stories by Team Our Local Stories in Melbourne. And the runners-up are Care Factors by Team Social Hackers in Sydney, World War I, The Day They Had Fallen by Team Storytellers of Canberra in Canberra. Congratulations to you. So congratulations to, sorry, I think I'm getting a note here.
Quick note.
Okay. Slight change of running order, but we can deal with that. Thank you, Pia. We're going to move on to the Australian National Bounty Hunting. So they were the last of the National Team Prize winners and highly commended teams. Soon in the program, we are going to have a short break and hear from the New South Wales Minister for Innovation. While we await his arrival, we'll move on with some awards. The Australian National Bounty Hunting Awards, the GovHack 2015 competition included a new idea of bounty hunting. It turns out we had a lot of Boba Fett impressionists with fierce bounty hunter competition. The Australian National Bounty Prizes were open to all Australian participants. The first of these categories is the most useful product or service for the public bounty, supported by the Digital Transformation Office. The victorious bounty hunter is Industry Check. Is it time to move on? By Team Elephant in Canberra. Congratulations. And there were also two highly commended hunters that came close. Australia's Economic Heartbeat by Team The Telltale Hearts in Melbourne, and Patent Stories again by Team Patent Trolls in Canberra. Congratulations. The ABC Regional Bounty, supported by the ABC, is the 15th category tonight. The victorious bounty hunter is Secret Suburb by Team Big Data, Big Dream in Sydney. The next category, Statistics Data Bounty, supported by the ABS. The victorious bounty hunter is About Oz by Team Caffeinate Me in Perth. The Charity Data Bounty, supported by the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission. The victorious Boba Fett bounty hunter is Charitable Mapping by Team Sleepless in Sydney from Sydney. Our 18th category tonight is the Taxation Data Bounty. I'm not sure whether that gets you a better annual return or what. But let's check it out. Supported by the Australian Taxation Office, probably not then. The victorious bounty hunter is the Glass Ceiling Index by Team Black Wattle in Sydney. The Scientific Data Bounty category, supported by the CSIRO, the victorious bounty hunter is Twitter Field Guide by Field Guides Incorporated in Canberra. There were also two highly commended hunters that came close. Lungs by Team St Simon in Adelaide, and Ecovalia game by Team Torrange Juice in Adelaide. Congratulations. The National Map Bounty, supported by the Department of Communications, the victorious bounty hunter is Use Your Words by Team 66% Teague in Canberra. The Structure of Government Bounty, supported by the Department of Finance. The victorious bounty hunter is Struct by Team GD in Toowoomba. There were also two highly commended hunters that came close, Agorpedia by Agorpedia in Melbourne, and Igor, an Agor assistant by Team Hackosaurus Rex in Canberra. Our 22nd category for tonight is the Air Conditioner and the Energy Bounty, supported by the Department of Industry. The victorious bounty hunter is Air Compare by Team Patch in Canberra. There were also two highly commended hunters that came close, the Energy Analyzer by Team Synergy in Sydney and Air Condor by Goshawks in Tasmania. The Geoscience Australia Data Bounty, supported by Geoscience Australia, the victorious bounty hunter is Minecraft Your City by Team Mind the App in Canberra. And the two highly commended hunters that came close were Disaster Master by Team Data Nerds in Canberra and Virtual Radelaide by Team, this will be a good one, Shacks. Is that how I was? Map Shacks, no, in Adelaide, thank you. The Intellectual Property Data Bounty, supported by IP Australia. The victorious bounty hunter is Neuron, Connecting Like Minds by Team Neuron in Sydney. And there was also a highly commended hunter that came close, and that's Patent Stories by our friends at Patent Trolls in Canberra. The Health and Welfare Bounty, supported by the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare. The bounty hunter, victorious bounty hunter, goes to Death and Taxes by Team Hackensaurus Rex in Canberra. That was always going to be a certainty. The Open Source Bounty, supported by Linux Australia. The victorious bounty hunter is Synergy City by Synergy City in Perth. And the Indigenous Issues Bounty, supported by the Western Australian Government Department of Aboriginal Affairs, goes to #OnCountry by Team On Country. Oh, it's spelt wrong in one place. I suspect that's One Country in Perth. Congratulations to you. And this category also, for Indigenous Issues Bounty, had some highly commended hunters that came very close. Indigenous War Heroes by Team Hack to the Future in Perth, Cooey by Team Cooey in Melbourne, and You Charity by Team You Charity in Sydney. Congratulations to all our bounty hunters. And the specially named and very special Bounty Hunter Prize is... Oh, is this from the new merchandise that came out yesterday, or no? Oh, anyway, shows. And I'd like to present, well, in fact, Pia here is here holding up the special Boba Fett prize. It's quality, to the best bounty hunter team who got the most recognition as a winner or highly commended in most bounty categories. And that, of course, went to Patent Stories by Team Patent Trolls in Canberra. They're allowed to come up, I think, Pia. No?
They're not allowed to come up. I'm actually just
They're not allowed to come. Pia's going to find you in the crowd. So last but not least, we're going to save those. We're going to save those because I am going to have a little voice break and a little drink break myself. And welcome to the stage. So anyone who wants to get me a beer from the bar and pass it to me as I go off stage, that'd be terrific. And I'm going to welcome to the stage to address us the Honourable Victor Dominello MP, who is the New South Wales Minister for Innovation. Please welcome Victor. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Can I begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of our beautiful land, pay my respects to the elders both past and present. I also acknowledge the 2,500 registered hackers who have taken part in this year's competition. Also acknowledge the Master of Ceremonies, David Bartlett. Thank you, David, the former Tasmanian Premier. Also Arthur Sinodinos. There you go, Arthur. Good to see you, mate. And we also have Paul Shetler here, Pia Waugh, Jan Bryson, and the indefatigable Anne-Marie Elias. Where are you, Anne-Marie? There we go. Everyone knows and should love Anne-Marie Elias. Look, I was at the Sydney GovHack awards night just recently, and I was blown away as the Minister for Innovation in terms of the ideas that the hackers are coming up with. Can I just reflect on some of the difficulties that we have in government? In government, we are big, we are slow, we are ugly. We are averse to change. We like staying still. We like looking backwards. We don't like being innovative. And we need more than ever to be innovative in this data-driven innovation, information age. What we need to do is to collaborate more with you, the private sector, who are moving
at a breakneck speed, and we need to collaborate with you just to try and keep pace. You know, in many ways, you are the opposite of what government is. You are fearless, government's cautious. You are risk takers. We don't take risk. Yeah, but you are the ones creating the big change. You are the ones that have the potential to change the world, to shape our world like we've never ever seen before. Can I give you an example just recently when I went to a GovHackathon, and I saw a young man. He designed an algorithm, and he said he basically had a Fitbit watch, Fitbit band, and he said he's able now to get the algorithm to such a degree of certainty that when you're driving a car, he can work out when you're starting to fall asleep. So he's obviously measuring your pulse and measuring the movement of your hand, and got an equation between the two, and to a high degree of accuracy, work out if you're falling asleep. I thought, wow, that's a pretty clever idea. But just think about the application of that. Within 2 days, I had a meeting with NRMA, and I said to them, you should have seen what I saw at this hackathon event the other day. He said, wow, that's a pretty powerful thing. If we could actually translate that into a commercial use, we can stop people falling asleep on the road as they're driving, preventing accidents, saving lives. And therefore we can reduce premiums accordingly. So that's a big tick. So that's the commercialisation of it. But then take it to another level. Imagine, and we're almost there, imagine if by wearing that, you can start working out when you're about to have a heart attack or a stroke. Now, if any of you have friends or relatives that have gone through that, you realise the enormous emotional, social, let alone economic costs. We're spending 40% of our budget in New South Wales and probably the feds on health. Imagine if we can get to that, because some genius out there in that crowd can develop that app that can work out that algorithm based on that data to stop somebody having a stroke. That's where we are. That's the future, and you are it. You're going to help shape the future. I'll be very brief. I recently announced a data analytics centre here in New South Wales. Now that is government being bold. That's government being brave. That's government taking a risk. We have 144 different agencies in New South Wales, all collecting data, all having their different data sets, all within silos. We have 152 councils, all collecting data, all data sets, all within silos. We have state-owned corporations, whether it's energy, whether it's water. Again, powerful data sets. Imagine if we could have a one-stop shop for those data sets. Well, that's what we're going to get, and it's called the Data Analytics Centre. We're going to give it legislative teeth to say, we have got these major social problems. We need access to this data, and we need it now, with privacy and security at the forefront. And once we get the data into here and get our house in order in government, then this is where the power is. We give the data, open it up to people like you. And we say to you, how can you help us reduce the incidence of stroke? How can you help us reduce childhood obesity? How can you help us shape our state, shape our nation, shape our world? That's where we're at. And that's what we're about to embark on. So congratulations to each and every one of you tonight. You represent a very, very exciting present and future. And the New South Wales State Government, I'm here to tell you, is here backing you in all the way. You've got the DAC. We've just recently announced Jobs for New South Wales, which is a $190 million corpus to look for ways to invest in jobs in the future. And David Thodey's the CEO of that. And I can guarantee you, your space is going to have a big say in that $190 million grant program. And we're also looking for space, for incubators where we can partner with you. You are the future. And I'm very pleased to be here as a part of the Baird New South Wales Government to thank you and congratulate you for all that you've done. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Victor. I've got to say, no matter what side of Parliament or whatever that you're on, it is always a great thrill to me to hear a state minister speak so articulately about innovation and passionately and genuinely understand the topic. So congratulations to you, and please thank the minister. So we move on from Boba Fett, and last but not least, we have, that wasn't you, Minister, I was referring to, that was the award before, by the way. Last but not least, we have 3 important awards that recognise the people's choice of GovHack. The Best Government Participation and the National Spirit of GovHack Prize. So, without further ado, the Hacker People's Vote Award, supported by Amazon and Link Digital, was about giving GovHack participants the chance, in a true democracy, to select the most awesome hack across the competition from their peers. This category was open to Australian and New Zealand participants, and in all the teams in the competition. The winning hack, not unlike the netball, the rugby, all the other bits and pieces, but not sheep actually these days. The winning hack is Crime Sheep by Team Sandpit Ninjas in New Zealand. The runners-up are the Glass Ceiling Index by Team Blackwaddle in Sydney and Postcode Battle Livability Index by Team Level 6.3 in New Zealand. Congratulations to the runners-up as well. The second to last award then is, but certainly not second to least, the Best Government Participation Award, supported by the GovHack National Volunteer Team, is for the government organisation that put the most amount of effort into GovHack this year. This award goes to the Western Australian State Government. Congratulations to them. I congratulate them, and I throw out a challenge to all other state governments to try and win this award next year. The runners-up are the Victorian Government, the CSIRO and the Australian Bureau of Statistics. Congratulations to you too. And finally, the National Spirit of GovHack Award, supported by NICTA and the e-Government Cluster. It's about recognising the team that displayed the greatest spirit of GovHack, aka the best hacker ethos. This means the team who best shared, learned and applied their skills to creatively, cleverly and collaboratively solve problems. And that's really what these GovHack events, programs and awards are all about. Every location had a local Spirit of GovHack team, and the national award was chosen from that short list. The team, very pleased to announce, the National Spirit of GovHack Award is Team Open Energy from Perth. So get this, the team formed on the Friday night when they met each other for the first time, never an easy start, but they've handled it with cheerfulness and enthusiasm throughout the weekend, including, as always with GovHack, some very late nights. They're a diverse group who share not only a commitment to delivering a GovHack project, but a vision for how West Australians can participate in the design and delivery of government services. And that is what GovHack is all about. Congratulations to Open Energy from Perth. So my final, or second to final job of the evening is to hand over to the wonderful Pia War for some thank yous. I'll save my nice words about Pia for after she speaks, but please welcome a name and a face that'll be, if not a new belly, that will be known to all of you. Please welcome Pia War.
And if one of me can do this much, imagine how much two will be able to do. All right, so what I'm going to do is a bit of a wrap up and a few thank yous and a few call outs. What I want to do first, though, is just ask all the volunteers, the representatives of the local events and the nodes who are here representing, those teams, those organising teams, to come up to the stage, stand on the stage, and I want all of the national team, to come up to the stage as well. And then while they're working their way up, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. So, and yeah, no exceptions, seriously, you'll get in big trouble. And I was really pleased that we could squeeze Boba Fett in there, by the way. That was my little fun hack myself. So while they're all meandering up, keep moving. I just want to say that this year GovHack has been, again, truly epic. And it is always wonderful for me and for the whole team to just see how it's growing and how awesome it's getting and how it's continuing to have that community feel. This isn't a corporate event, it's not a government event, it's run by volunteers who care passionately about this stuff. And it's not just because of all the collective hacks. Okay, keep coming down the front. It's because of that growing sense of community, that opportunity, collaboration and appreciation for the awesome community we have here. You go around the world and I think we have the best civic hacking, the best hacker community in the world, and it's really good to get to show it off. Yeah, I agree, right? Personally, I'm inspired and energized by the commitment and dedication of all these people and all of you for making GovHack such a success, the organisers, volunteers, sponsors, participants, etc. And all of the winners, runners-up and honorary mentions should be up on the website at 8 p.m, so in another 20 minutes you'll all be able to tweet that link very soon. And then everyone will be getting an email with their digital certificates, but of course we're going to be handing out certificates for winners and runners-up up here in a minute. Okay, now everyone's here. So Richard is rapidly running around giving everyone a nice little paper certificate, which is kind of nice to have. I want to say a couple of words about the national team, and then we'll go from there. So first of all, Jeff Mason is somewhere around. Can you come here, please? So Jeff took over the reins for GovHack this year. He was actually the lead organiser. And it was no small task. It was a huge and epic task, and I think he hated me every moment of the way. A little. But it was really important for GovHack to become sustainable and a truly community momentum, not just something that Pia runs in her spare time because she doesn't have a life. It was truly important to get someone else running it and the team running it, and the whole team has gone well above and beyond this year, so much so. So I just want to say a huge thank you above all to Jeff for his huge leadership getting GovHack as awesome as it's been this year. Thank you. Secondly, to Jan, Nadine and Richard, if you can all just step to the forward a little bit here. Jan, Nadine and Richard. These guys and the teams at NICTA and Linux Australia did a huge amount of incredible work. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much. Jan did all the sponsorship engagement and support and liaison, and Richard dealt with all of the teams, and Nadine came in to help with the red carpet awards and general stuff. It was amazing. The rest of the national team, Alicia Thomas, who's just epic, I'm not going to do what everyone says because it's just a bit too much, but Alicia and Sharon Scott, if everyone can throw your hands up as I say you, Gavin Tapp, Keith Moss, Alex Sadlier, and Craig Tomlin has come in to help with some of the comms tonight as well. And I also want to give a special mention to Anne-Marie Elias, who's probably not here yet. Hey! For really coming in and helping out. All these guys are on the national team, and the national team tries to, does a huge amount of work in supporting all the local teams, in creating the national competition, just a whole bunch of stuff. I also want to thank the incredible New Zealand national team led by the incredible Cherie Ellis, just here. Get in front. Get in front. And Cherie and her national New Zealand team really picked up and ran. I mean, the first event that we ran had 2 locations. They thought they'd go for 6. Yeah, they always got to outdo us over there. It's incredible. So again, New Zealand beat us. Thank you. So they did an incredible job. Finally, the local event organisers. We've got everyone here. Everyone's getting certificates. I'm going to read everyone's name. Again, throw your hands up in the air like you just don't care when I say your name, just so people can see who you are and say thank you afterwards. So we've got Sheeskar Daisy from Canberra. We've got Ty Hewen from Sydney. Katharina Drinkett from Brisbane. Jolan Feischney from Gold Coast. David Macefield from Toowoomba. Sean Boot from Adelaide. Johnny Scholes from Hobart. James Riggle from Launceston. George Fong from Ballarat. Right. Kathy Reid from Geelong. Jordan Wilson Otto from Melbourne. Tamarin Barker from Perth. Vivid Savitri from Camberdown. I got this wrong last time. Ivan? Yep, Galanda. Ivan Galanda from Manly. Andrew Perry from Parramatta. Louise Danoon from Sydney. Andy Ektoris from Warrington. And Lawrence from the Sunshine Coast. Vicky Hutchinson from Mount Gambier. Bridget Coulter from Onkapringa. Thank you, Okapringa! Hey, Okapringa! Which is in South Australia for the rest of you. Dana Pocius from Playford. Miad Saberi from Clayton. Athena Mavramataki. Oh, please tell me I got that right. From Melbourne. Peter Harrison from Auckland. Phil Wheeler from Dunedin. David Nichols from Hamilton. Mike Riversdale from Wellington. Marianne Archibald and Nick Williamson from Whangarei. Whangarei.
One's Whangarei, one's Wanganui.
And Wanganui. I think it's also worth saying everyone up here and everyone out there as well, you all put your lives and, hearts and souls and blood and tears and lack of sleep over 48 hours. These guys put in weeks and months and sometimes up to a year of work into making this happen. So thank you to all of our collective partners, children, cats and friends, and the dogs that don't speak to us anymore. And thank you finally to all of you. You are the awesome participants that make it all worth it. So I'll get these guys to exit stage left, and if I can invite the sponsor representatives up to the stage as well, I'll say a quick thank you to those guys. Exit stage left, that's your left.
It's our left.
Is it our right? I'm terrible at this, as it turns out. All right, so first of all, I just want to say a big thank you, and it's said a couple of times, but the Powerhouse Museum. The Powerhouse Museum came through and created not just an amazing venue, but put up our colours up in pretty lights, put up the GovHack logo, made this place beautiful for us. Thank you so much, and thank you also to Fishburners for helping us secure this venue. It's just awesome, and we've really appreciated it. The lead agency sponsor, Digital Transformation Office, the lead corporate sponsor, Telstra, all the government and corporate sponsors nationally all around the country, all our in-kind sponsors, all the sponsors. You've heard them all a few times now and they're up on the slides. I think it's also important to say thank you to all the VIPs that came. We've had ministers, we've had senators, we've had senior CEOs, we've had senior people from company and government, and it's important and encouraging to actually get these guys along to see how awesome you guys are. Often enough, they are completely, separated from the awesomeness that we bring to this world. And so, getting them in the room with us, seeing the best dressed group of geeks they will ever see in their life here at the GovHack Red Carpet Awards, all helps make us more relevant and helps them see that they can't ignore us and they need to talk to us, which I think is a good thing. So please join me in thanking all the sponsors, and I think they're all around somewhere. Oh well, you'll see all the sponsors in the slides going up in a second. And finally, I want to say thank you to David Bartlett for just being an amazing MC. Please join me in thanking David. The final thing I'll say, and then I'll get off the stage and go back to playing with one of the Boba Fett dolls, is I'm obviously going to be somewhat out of action next year. I've got a little PR coming in January, but every year we need new volunteers. So if you love GovHack, if you love this community, please help us out, encourage your friends to help us out. We need volunteers to help with local events, to help with a national team, to help make this stuff happen. So I encourage you to get involved. I will be possibly involved behind the scenes next year, but not as much. But we always need new volunteers, so please get involved. And I cannot tell you how proud I am of this community and of how well GovHack has come along. We've gone from something small, something kind of fun for us, and now it's just something really big and fun for us. But we'll keep doing it while ever it's fun, and we'll keep doing it while ever it's a great community event. So thank you all for making this awesome and for inspiring us all. It's just epic. Thank you.
Yeah, keep that round of applause going for Pia Wall. I'm going to refrain from the asking the question whether Pia version 2.0 is going to iron out the bugs of the first one, because there are no bugs in the first one, from what I can see. Having met Pia just 2 or 3 years ago and introduced to the human dynamo that we all know and the extraordinary energy that Pia, I think, is almost, and I know it's not single-handedly because there's a huge group of people up here and a huge movement going on, but almost single-handedly given voice to ideas around open data, GovHack and so on, probably beyond anyone else in Australia. So really congratulations, and we all wish you the best for January. Congratulations. So my job now is to wrap up, and I'll be very quick. Can I thank the Senator and Minister for joining us and spending time with us this evening. It really is great to see public policy people engaging in such an important movement, if I can use that word. Engagement in democracy, the truth is at all-time lows. And the ability for governments to solve the complexity of problems we have as communities, given resource constraints, is on the wane. Therefore, GovHack and the online engaged community, the wisdom of the ubiquitously connected community, is really one of the great hopes for our democracies, I think, across the Western world. And therefore, GovHack, for me, is an extremely important part of that architecture. I congratulate all of the organisers, I thank all of the sponsors, and I particularly congratulate all of you around the country. Say hello to Paris and the boys in Hobart, and my friends in Ballarat, and those up in Toowoomba as well. And I congratulate all of you across the country for the great work you've done this year, and encourage you to get involved, re-energise, and be part of it again in 2016. This is the most important announcement of the night, though, coming up. So everybody listen, very careful, very careful. The after-party bar is Bar Broadway. Go out to Harris Street, turn left, walk up George Street, or just follow the crowd. And we look forward to seeing you there for a well-earned drink. And I'm going to hand over to Alicia, who is going to start calling people up for photos and certificates on stage. But all the rest of you, apart from listening out for when it's your turn to come up and have that photo taken, enjoy a drink, congratulations, and thank you very much to the organising committee for inviting me to be part of the celebration tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Now for